Hi there. It's been a long while since I've gone through the free books available on Prime Reading. I was recently reading We Have Demons from Scott Snyder and thought, do you know what? There's some new stuff on here that is worth making people aware of, especially if they don't want to spend any more money on books or they are looking to try out some different titles and not risk, having spent some money that they could otherwise better used. So what we'll do is we'll have a look through the library. I think it's best to do this on my Kindle app and just do a screen record, and I'll just talk over it and point out the ones that I think are worth having a look at. Just remember, if you've got a Prime subscription, so for your telly or whatever with Amazon, you get these in the Prime Reading for free. They are included as part of your subscription, so there's no risk to you of spending any money unless you want to get the ones that aren't included in it or other volumes. So without any further ado, let's have a look. Okay, so this is the Kindle app. Open on the Discover tab. All you've got to do is go over to where it says Prime Reading, click on that, then have a little scroll around until you find comics and graphic novels, then go over to the side and press See More. Okay, so first up you can see we've got the We Have Demons from Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo that I've recently talked about on this channel. That's a great book. This is part of the Comixology Originals series because Amazon owns Comixology. You get access to these books as part of your Prime subscription. They don't cost you anything and you can keep them in your Prime library. We've also got Venom Volume 1 from Donny Cates. That's a good read. This is in there along with a lot of other Venom and Carnage titles because of the Let There Be Carnage movie that's currently out. They do rotate the books in here depending on what's happening with TV and film to tie in with it. So you've also got Absolute Carnage over there on the right, which is a recent Carnage based event that a lot of people enjoyed. It was an easy, fun enough read, and if you're into the symbiote stuff and the world that Donny Cates is building with Venom and Carnage, then it's totally worth checking it out. You've also got Batman The Long Halloween there. That is just a cracking adult read that any Batman fan should really read as part of their Batman back catalogue, and helps build their knowledge base, and it's just a fun story. Also, you've got Batman Year One from Frank Miller, again another really good read, and you will see from those two books a lot of the things that were taken from them by Christopher Nolan for his Batman films. You've also got there Volume 2 of Venom from Donny Cates, so if you want to continue the story you can. Darth Vader Volume 1 from Kieran Gillen, that is a fantastic Star Wars read, real fun story, and it doesn't pervert the Star Wars mythologies at all, it builds on them in a good way. Batman Volume 1 from Scott Snyder, that is the first New 52 Batman book, it's a good story. Court of Owls. Preacher Book 1, have a look at that if you're a fan of Garth Ennis or you want something very different from your normal Marvel and DC stuff. That is very different from the TV series as well, I should point out, but it's totally worth reading. A real enjoyable read if you've got the right sense of humour, let's say. And World War Hulk at the bottom there, a great event comic with Hulk just bashing the hell out of the Marvel heroes, and with good reason too as well, because he's got a reason to be angry. Venom and Carnage there I got years ago when it first came out, and I didn't like the art, I didn't like the story, didn't like the character that gets created in it. Essentially Carnage has a baby, it's called Toxin, it bonds with a policeman, and it's just a bit it's just not fun. Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 1, however, is a great read and a good in-way for anyone who wants to read a Spider-Man story without a load of mythology. You've got this Night of the Ghoul here, which is a forthcoming comic book which I'm looking forward to. They've started advertising these comics on here to readers to try and build some hype, which I think is really good, especially if you look in there regularly. You can keep your eye out for things. You've got Batman Volume 1 from Tom King, I Am Gotham, the first book from the Batman Rebirth era. Didn't really enjoy it much, but it's a fine read. It's just wasn't my cup of tea. Interestingly, in the bottom corner here, you've got Carnage Volume 1. Again, all sits in this current Marvel continuity for Carnage and the symbiote, so it's worth a read if you're into that. Vampirella, Volume 1. Again, if you want a different character, you want to see what the Vampirella storylines are like, that's totally worth checking out. Also, you've got Flashpoint there, which is the long-standing, much talked about series where Flash goes back in time and changes things, so you get alternate versions of the DC characters, and it also leads to the New 52. We've got here The Boys on the right hand side, where you can see what inspired the TV series. There were a lot of changes they made to the TV series because the book is just so extreme, but it's totally worth checking out. Just be aware that it is very much adult material when you're reading it, because of the things that get covered in there. Okay, you got Wonder Woman Earth Volume 1. That's where the DC heroes have a much more grounded world that they operate in, a much more grounded backstories, but this is one that calls on a lot of the historic Wonder Woman storylines and things such as the purple healing ray, etc. It's just a good read, very well written. Grant Morrison there. Otherwise, you've got House of M from Brian Michael Bendis. If you're into the mutants and the X-Men, worth checking out. Not my cup of tea, just because I'm not the biggest X-Men fan. However, Sabrina the Teenage Witch series from Archie, this is a great read. It's got good art, it's got good writing, it's the influence for the Sabrina TV series, which unfortunately didn't end very well, but also this book series didn't end very well because they essentially ran out of steam and never properly finished it, but still worth checking out, totally worth checking out. And here we go, Spider-Man Maximum Carnage. This is the 14-issue event from Marvel, which sees Spider-Man and Venom teaming up with, I think, Morbius and Cloak from Cloak and Dagger to track down Carnage, Shriek, and I can't remember his bloody name. It's a Spider-Man clone with, he's not a clone, but it's a Spider-Man looking creature with 8 legs that's sort of his pet. It's alright. It goes on a bit. It's not got much substance to it, but it's just an action comic series. And I most remember Spider-Man just having broken ribs throughout it. I don't know why they made that a plot point, whether someone who was writing it had broken ribs, I don't know, but it just seems to be that they labour that point a lot through the story. But it's a fun read, and it's the kind of thing that if you're a Spider-Man fan, you can say, well, I've read that now, and you have it in your repertoire. But look, all these books are free. They're all part of your subscription to Amazon Prime. They rotate on a regular basis, so you want to keep jumping in and having a look, but I thought we'd just have a look now because there's a lot changed in it recently, but there's some real quality reads in there. Hope that was of some use to you guys. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.